And so, we start part 3, as we normally... Get away, you fucking green fly bastard. We normally start part 1. I'm covered in fucking green flies here. Probably all over my face. But yeah, so... Any ideas? Ideas on the postcard, please, in the comment section. You know what to do for Waynecast 100. I don't fucking know. I could just end up doing one of these, or doing one in the house. We don't know yet. I haven't got a bloody clue. I've sort of finished with buying of the sort of camera equipment and lights and stuff for a little while. I've had a light panel. It's actually due to fucking day. In fact, it was due yesterday and it's not arrived yet. That's probably the last-ish thing. I've got a decent camera bag to pick up and then install some of this stuff in. Doing a follow focus that can wait for a while. Same as a loop, you know, for the front. It's doing that. It's an eye thing. Whatever. Look it up. You know what I mean? Hood loop stuff like that. Zacuto, all those things. Can wait. You know what I mean? Not essential. There's ways around it. If light is shining on your little screen, then you put a little bit of cardboard next to it, or go like this with your hand, you know what I mean? Low-tech solution that doesn't cost you 400 quid. Because I think a lot of this stuff is overpriced. I don't really need a matte box at the moment. I can, you know, if I did, I could probably get somebody local and make one up a lot cheaper. To some really good metalworkers around here, because it used to have steelworks, right? And a lot of the stuff they did there was engineers that work in high precision machinery. You know, and they're in their 80s now, so they're able to do all sorts of things, you know, for either nothing or a few beers, which is great. But yeah, I want to get walking. I'm trying to avoid chewing my arms because I'm actually covered in sweat stains. You know, you don't see any other 3D artist that does a video blog discussing shit like that, do you? You see, I know what times I've been accused of sometimes blowing my own trumpet a bit, but as I've said before, look, if you're a shrinking violet, unless you've got a lot of fucking mates, and I mean hundreds of them, to tell everybody how fantastic you are, there's a lot of fucking good artists out there now. I'd hate to start now, you know, because it'd be a lot more difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. So if you're not prepared to say to somebody, look, you know what, I'm pretty fucking decent, then nobody else is going to do it for you. And I know a lot of people, especially older school guys, find that really offensive. But look, I'm quite aware that if some, not all, but some of these older guys were left alone, they'd have got rid of 80% of the industry by now and just had them, right? And that's human nature. We all want stability in our jobs, in our lives. It's similar to a discussion that was going on Twitter, I think it was last week or the week before, about long working hours in 3D and in game industry. My view is, look, if you're looking to be rich or famous or sit on your fucking arse on Twitter all day, don't do this as a career. I'm lucky. Few of the guys that you see more vocal on Twitter are lucky that they have the time to do this as well as their job and do it well. Some of the guys that do that aren't employed yet, or maybe they're between freelance gigs. Fair enough, right? That happens to the best of us. It's happened to me on numerous occasions. So don't think that that's the way it is. It's not. Now, if I was hiring an artist for 9 hours a day, right? Say 9 till 6, we'll say. I'm not paying you to sit 6 hours on Twitter, 2 hours on Facebook, and 1 hour actual working. I'm paying for 9 hours of work. If you don't want, you get sacked. Simple as that. That's the reality of life, right? Yeah, I know it's harsh, I know it's terrible and all that, but that's the way it is. One guy said, well, how would you feel if, you know, at crunch time where you had to work like sort of 16 or 17 hours in a day? And I'm like, dude, that's a fucking holiday to me. I work that already. I have to. I'm freelance, right? Plus, I do more things than most people. I'm running the hub, I'm writing articles, I'm doing freelance, I'm doing this, I'm teaching people. There's a lot of shit I'm doing, and I'm fitting about 4 lives into one here, right? So yeah, that would be a bit of a holiday, which doesn't normally go down too well, but a lot of freelance guys work long hours because if you don't, you starve. Simple as that. The plus point of freelance, you're not stuck doing sort of the same thing for 4 years. I know one lad who works at Pixar. stuck doing one specific type of model for 3 years for one film. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, I would have left. I don't care if it's Pixar, I don't care if it's Blur Studios, if it's Weta or ILM. I am not doing the same fucking model for 3 years. Right? Because Lord obviously says by the time, at the end of that 3 years, you'll be far better than you were at the beginning. Right? Meaning then, all of the early ones have got to be redone. Or you've got to stay shit. Or at the level you were starting at, right? Not shit, that's insulting. But you sort of see what I mean. Diversity is actually normally a good thing. Which is why I'm not a big believer in people working on exactly the same thing like a freaking McDonald's flipping burgers. I don't like that. It's not for me, right? So freelance, yeah, you get a lot more different types of projects. Sometimes you will starve. Sometimes if you're over here in England, you will have to sign on. Why? Because there's no fucking work, and it's either that or you're going to end up losing your house and everything with it. Why? Well, look, this is not the sort of like 2005 anymore where everybody got work, and it's not based just on how good you are anymore. There's a lot more elements in the equation. We live in an environment where the finances of the world are on a knife edge, and no matter what politicians will lead you to believe, all it takes is the tiniest little fucking push and we all go back down again. Now the old solution, in the days of the British Empire, God bless their fucking soul, used to be, well, if things are going a bit shit, let's have a really big fucking war, because that makes loads of money and innovates and things like that. Look at the innovations in the First World War, the Second World War, case in point, right? Now, I'm not going to cover more recent ones because that's a bit of a dodgy subject and that'll fracture into a billion different opinions. And I'm not going to tell you what my opinion is. Just suffice it to say that I think there's got to be a good reason before you go around shooting people, right? Especially people who may or may not be armed. You know, that's just my opinion for what it's worth. Feel free to disagree. I really couldn't care less because everybody's got an opinion. And like our souls, I've got one, right? Doesn't make it any better than anybody else's. You know? So yeah, just because you're in 3D doesn't make us any more special than a carpenter. Being an artist does not make you worth any more. If the planet was going to explode next year and they were going to draw lots for 1 million places on a big Noah's Ark style spaceship, you know what? Wouldn't be a lot of fucking artists in there now, would there? Because we're basically eye candy. We produce the things that look nice, right? There's stuff for the games, stuff for television, stuff for the films, etc, etc. There's occasionally nice sculpts or paintings or drawings. That's about it. People look at it and go, "Ooh, that's nice." That's it. That's the end of, basically. Somebody's got enjoyment out of it for a few seconds. If you're lucky, for a lot longer. Now, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from there. And I don't want to sound all bitter and twisted, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody or discourage anybody from entering the industry. Far from it. New blood is vital to 3D. Otherwise we all end up peddling around doing the same fucking thing. Sometimes we all need somebody to come along, some bright little guy from nowhere, reinvent something or a style, and we'll all sit back and go, "Whoa, that guy's good." And you absorb part of what he's done, mix it with what you've done, a few other things. Before you know it, you've came on as well. And nobody's copied anybody else. We've just been inspired by each other. I'm inspired by many artists. Doesn't care what software they use. In fact, the majority of the artists from the digital sculpting side are ZBrush users. Nothing to do with software. These guys, you can give them anything, and they'll still, you know, they'll still be good sculptors. Now, I'm not going to give you the names because that's sort of embarrassing to people, you know. And some people, funnily enough, don't like their named sort of tarred and feathered with my brush. Yeah. But my inspiration comes from outside the 3D world. Majority of it has to. Otherwise, it's like an incestuous little pool, and we all go round reinventing the same things. You know, and we sort of got into that about 2 or 3 years ago, where every monster was starting to look the same. Every big giant muscly guy was looking the same. So, I think occasionally we need a kick up the arse. You need somebody to come along and shake things up a bit. And no doubt, before much longer, somebody else will appear. And it'll shake me up. And you know what? I will enjoy that day. Because then, I'll be able to see, okay, now I can take things to a different level and start looking from a different dimension. And that's the way every artist should. You should never be jealous of the guy next to you who is better than you. You should celebrate that, because you can learn. He doesn't have to teach you. You can see what he's doing. So you know what? I like that shape there. That particular shape there. See a little fold of it. I love that shape. Incorporate in your own sculpt. You haven't ripped them off. That's one fold. One form. One tiny fraction of a form. That's how you form things. I want a better word. So hopefully after that little rant, I hope it maybe makes some of you think, or just see talking bollocks or whatever, and I'll see you all next time. Toodle pipski.